It says we're live. Thank you. I meant to bring my laminator for you. I know, I meant to bring it though so that I could do it while I was here.
I have one out at home too. I've been doing a lot lately.
Oh, Tom said, oh my, on my way.
What about Cindy?
I haven't heard from her yet.
Yeah, I forgot this one got moved up.
Yeah.
That was my fault. I probably should have sent a text message as a reminder. I'm sorry.
Do we have any business to cover today?
The only thing we were discussing was, are we still discussing the commercial property? We were still discussing that. And then, Denise wanted to bring up, she had questions about, or she had asked me to bring up questions on fencing ordinance, which I was just which we can go ahead and start with that if we want to. The fencing ordinance, I didn't know if our fencing ordinance stated anything different than other ordinances that you have.
I didn't compare it, but I've got.
Well, do you know what I'm saying? I guess that's what I meant. Is there anything different than maybe other ones that you've seen?
I'm sure not.
Here you go.
Very routine.
Very routine, is what you said.
So Judd, is our job to be ahead of problems or deal with advice as things come?
Thank you.
I would say both. And what I mean by that is, so every few years, and it may be like 10 and like 5 or 2 years after 20, the city would redo its comprehensive plan.
Fencing. You know,
Kind of your
probably.
vision of where you're going. And to,
Present.
after that comprehensive plan is done, anticipating problems, you would change your zoning code to try and get
Right,
to the
okay.
comprehensive plan. And then as things come up and they're not working in an area, you try and respond to those things that aren't working.
But typically that would come from input from other people and such, no?
Yes and no. I mean, half and half. Half and half. Sometimes it's driven by the city council, sometimes by citizens, sometimes either you become aware of it or you become aware of it because someone doesn't want to speak in a public meeting.
I would still count that as driven from outside sources.
Yeah, but I mean, it's certainly within your scope to, if you see something that's a problem, to try and change it. It doesn't take an impetus from outside the APC to push something forward, to push it under the magnifying glass.
Is this ours? This is the actual our code. I guess that is what it said.
It's your unofficial code that was renumbered. The company that did it renumbered it, but if you look at like the very bottom of page 1, it refers at the very, very end
Yes.
to section 1074. That's the old code.
Okay.
So that's how you correlate them.
Got it.
Okay, Judd, the question I have for you are, snow fences normally allowed under fence provisions? Since they're supposed to be a temporary type fence, not a permanent,
What kind of fence?
snow fence.
Like the orange plastic stuff?
No, like the wood wire thread.
I think it's like it almost looks slatted. Almost like
Here, I've got, I can show you.
Where they feed like plastic strips into a chain link fence?
No.
No, it's
no.
wooden, it's real, and it's usually unwound, and a lot of times it's used in the winter.
Oh, like do
To
they look like
keep-
stakes that have been wired together?
Yeah.
I see that. What's your question about that?
Is this allowed for a permanent type fence?
Let's see.
Because I don't see anything that says what the materials need to be made of. Is there any way we can add that into?
Sometimes it says whether it needs to be opaque or that it's.
Yeah, I haven't-
a plant screen or.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that.
I guess the first question should be is, has she come in, with Denise's particular concern, she's not come in for a,
I do not have a permit yet.
and even with, I did ask Larry about this, cause I made the comment about temporary fencing, for example. If I was having work done on the front of my house, like let's say, like the water line or something like that, and they had to, I don't know anything about it, I'm just using it as an example, but they had to dig really deep, I would want for my kids to put something up there that's not a permanent
Yes.
fence.
But that would be a temporary situation,
Right,
not
but
a
but
permanent.
we don't have anything even like that, a temporary fence type thing in there. I'm using that like,
Right,
but I
right.
think that's something maybe,
That would somewhat fall under industry standards and safety.
okay, got it, okay.
So, if somebody's doing something and they need to secure the area, they can put up that temporary fence.
Kind of like what we done on the 200 blocks?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
that makes sense. That makes sense. So really,
So that kind of falls under totally different.
so you would say
situation.
if that was the case, we probably wouldn't need to, just because it's a safety thing.
Yeah,
It's
our
not.
fence ordinance is pretty vague.
Got
I mean, there's-
Okay, no, that makes sense. I just thought I would ask that, so that's fine with me.
And how close can a fence go to someone else's house? Because the fence that she's wanting to put up is like 3 inches from my memorial bed that is 3 foot wide. And she wants to put it like right next to it. And that would limit, I wouldn't be able to trim or take care of that at all. And my electric box is on that side of the house too. And we're needing to get gutters soon, and we wouldn't be able to access that side of the house at all with the fence there. So is there a way to limit that to the backyard only?
I'm pretty sure the way it's set up currently, like, of course, you got 3 foot height restriction on the front corner lot or in front of the protrusion of your house.
Uh-huh.
And then you have, I believe, in the alley, I think it has to be set back 3 or 5 feet from the alley, but I think on the side yard, it can go right on the property.
Weird.
Then how are we supposed to have access to that side of the house? Would you like that if it's on your property, that close to your house?
Did you need to go on their property to get to your,
We have to go on their property to get to do anything on that
So
side of
your
the house.
house is right up against their property?
The property line is right up against the house.
And it's so close to your house that you can't access your house.
No, not on that side. Not at all.
how far-
Not if she puts that fence up.
How far is your house from your property line?
Yeah.
3 feet, 3 inches apparently. Because that flower bed was put in after she bought her house, and she said how beautiful it was and she liked it. So there was no complaints when we put it in.
Yeah.
But now she's wanting to put that right next to it, and it's like, no.
Yeah, like, I don't know what. her
Would that be
plan is.
grandfathered in, Jed?
Grandfathered into it. When was it built?
The what? The flower bed
fence.
was put in 2017. She's had the
No.
property since 2010, and she's never made a complaint since.
No, if it wasn't there when the code was
That's not
passed,
it,
it's not
okay.
grandfathered in.
Do what?
If it wasn't present when the code was passed, it's not grandfathered in. And grandfathering is like a custom, it's not a law. It's like what people traditionally do, but it's not a law.
Okay.
What you can do is she just says you can't go on her property.
That's what we want to know. We want to know what our options are with this fence and what we can do about having access to our.
So I guess we should,
House.
also say that you tell me if I'm wrong on this. Denise right now is probably more speaking as a person of the public, not a person.
Not
on
the board,
Not on
no.
this committee, I guess we should say
That is correct, because that would be a conflict.
Well, we know a couple things. We know for a fact that if it's in front of her house, that it can't be taller than 3 feet. So that's number one. We know that. Her house is not on a corner. It's not a corner lot, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're really just talking about the front part, really, that would be in front of. So, and I don't know what house it is, so I feel like that's okay. So as long as it's not in front of it,
You read that?
we haven't heard anything about what
I'm
type
not
of
reading.
fence. we've heard from her what type of fence that she thinks she's putting up.
There's no application's been filled out or anything.
Oh, she doesn't.
Is it this side or this side?
How
This side, so
does,
she's wanting to put it on.
Is this her house or yours?
That's mine.
with the fencing,
That's yours. What?
Yeah.
I guess this maybe, I didn't realize that
So our-
this was a type of fencing. Is that something that we would, and I'm asking, I guess,
Okay,
you're a
Just-
professional,
and just to verify too, just looked at, there is 1 foot from our house to the property
4
line
foot
in our, how much?
4'8".
4'8".
Then your driveway's 1 foot beyond that, I think.
Okay, so we have 4'8" from the house to the property line, and according to her, it's much closer because our flower bed is exactly 36 inches. So I was very careful with measuring it. And then she's wants to put 3 inches. So her survey and our survey do not match, if that's the case.
You have to get it surveyed.
Yeah.
We both have had it surveyed. This is our survey,
yeah, if
and
it's
then she
surveyed,
just had one done last week.
Pins in the
there ought to
ground.
be some
Yeah.
record at the
She just did
courthouse.
that. They just put a pin in where this one does not match.
The pin, this is, your pins are gonna be real.
No, but the pin, they just put in this pin this week.
Yep.
Right, but it does not match this one because when our guy came out, he showed us, he says, I'm not gonna put a pin because where we need to put it would hit our driveway. He says, I'm not gonna do that. He said, but her guy put a pin in closer to our house than what this shows.
I guess,
So
hers
hers comes in at an angle and ours was at a straight.
I guess my other question with this is this, and I'm asking, I know we're talking about an issue,
I know it's gonna
but
have to go to court.
is this portion right here, do we even touch this because this is not even considered,
That property line would be pretty much a civil dispute.
Okay, the property line I'm not worried about. I'm worried about the fencing and the type of fence that she was wanting to put up. Because we've seen it in her backyard. We know it's that winter type fence, and I don't think that's appropriate for any house in Attica, let alone between ours.
yes?
Go ahead.
Person was in today, picked up the building permit. I point blank asked her what type of fence she was looking to put up. So she's looking for that wooden 6-foot privacy fence, a nice one. I said, "Okay."
Yeah, well, that's not what's in her backyard.
I don't know. I asked the person, that's what she told me.
Yeah.
Does she have something currently?
No.
So where did you,
Here's her excuse. Okay, she's saying that she's afraid of my dog. My dog is never outside except for to go potty and right back in. Okay? She says, I can't even go out my back door. Yes, you can. Because if I hear him bark one time, I know she's out there. I go out and I grab him if it wasn't sitting there at the door, because I usually stay at the door with him. I go out, grab him, bring him back in. And so that's not an issue. So I don't know what the issue is.
I guess the thing that what Larry's saying though is if it's a 6-foot privacy fence,
Then we can't access our backyard. We can't get to that south side of the house. North side
so
of the house.
where does
side,
that
north
fall?
side.
Does that fall with anything on us?
It's their
On this,
property.
yeah.
She can
Exactly,
put
it's
a
her
fence up
property. I don't
On her
know
property.
what difference does it make.
And we can tell her how tall it can be.
But she could put a 6-foot right next to my house.
She can put a fence on her property.
Yeah.
And we can tell her how tall it can be. That's the extent of the zoning code.
You can't get access to somebody else's property.
I understand that. What I'm saying is we cannot, okay, so we have no access at all to the south end.
It's their property. They could literally sit there with no fence and go, you can't touch my property.
You would have access through your back off the alley back there, right? I mean, it's not like you.
I can't access my flower bed that's put in as a memorial bed. It's all my past,
I understand
relatives.
that, But
The zoning code doesn't try and, I mean, some of them are more detailed than others about all subjects. And some are more detailed than others about fencing. This doesn't have a lot of detail in it.
okay,
Which
then,
means if it's not regulated, you can do it.
okay, so then can we regulate it?
That's up to this group.
But
Well, how are you wanting to regulate it? It's her property. I just
The
don't
only thing I want
understand.
regulated is that it can't be, a fence can't be that close to somebody else's house. I don't care if she puts one up in the backyard, go for it. But when you're talking right next to someone's house, that is not right, nor is it fair.
I know you're upset, but I mean, that's every city.
That's why we buy property and that's why the lines are drawn when you buy. I don't know.
Okay, if the line was that drawn, then why didn't you say something sooner?
Well, we can't go there.
I mean,
Things are never problems till they're problems.
right. Okay, can we at least limit the types of fences that we can do? So we make sure that this winter thing doesn't go up?
You guys can determine,
And she can't put up a 6 foot in the middle of the houses, can it? They have to be 4 foot and less, right?
No, it's just at the corner of your home. If it hits, once it hits the corner, then it can be
And then isn't it
It
just the
says-
front yard where
it's a
there's
in
a
the
limit?
front yard,
Like
it's gotta be 3 foot or less.
right in front. Yeah, yes.
In the front yard, but in the rear
But
yard.
it can't go clear to the sidewalk in the front. It has to be stopped at her.
She can still
At
build a
the house.
fence closer, but it has to be 3 foot then. So once it's past
Once it
the corner of
passes
her
the front
house,
Structure, it can only be 3 foot.
Yeah. she can apply for a variance, which would take her to, she would have to have certified letters sent to all the neighbors that her property's touching if she wanted it larger than 3 foot. But however, because it's on a busy road, it will not happen if she said if she wanted a 6 foot fence. Because it's at right, is that correct?
Has to
Yeah, it's
obstruct
right on
visibility,
Perry
right?
Street.
Yeah, it has to obstruct visibility.
But I think there are fences that are in front. I don't know how far they go. She can't go all the way to the sidewalk, can she? I don't know that.
She can, but it has to be 3 feet.
She can go, it has to be 3 feet. Okay.
But honestly, great fences make great neighbors. So if you have two people that don't get along, the bigger the fence, the better.
We never had a problem until this.
And it's never a problem until you do.
Mm-hmm.
I know it stinks, but honestly, if you don't get along, it'd be great to not look over and see what
Okay,
they're
my
doing.
question is, if our house is on fire, the fence is here and my house is right here, how are we gonna fight fire? If I wanna put new siding on my house, how am I gonna be able to sign my house if the fence is that close to my house?
But the fence and getting on their property are two different things.
But you can't even walk down there, you wanna go walk down there.
Hey, I just bought Kendall's house. I get it. Like,
And
I'm
that's
the
where
same boat.
properties are, I mean, living in the big city, you can reach out and touch the next house.
Yeah, so how are you supposed to be able to maintain your house? If I wanna put a windows in or some new siding, or they have to, our meter box is on that side, if Duke Energy has to get in there to work on our meter box. If the fence is that close to our house, how are they gonna get up there to work in there?
And our meter has to be read every month because we do not have a Wi-Fi enabled meter. We pay extra for them to come down every month to read it.
How far did you say it was from the side of your house, property line?
4'8".
According to this 4'8", but according to her, it's only 3'3".
So you can walk down through a 3'3" opening.
No,
right?
because there's flower bed there.
Yeah, the flower bed's right there.
But that's,
Well, that's not
That's
her.
Your house is
not
on
really
fire,
her
yeah, your house is on fire, they're gonna go through your flower bed.
right.
I'd love to see him go through roses.
And if the house is on fire, they're gonna take that fence down too, we're gonna cut the fence down.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, we'd have to, if not,
I
then
don't know,
we'll
I've never
access
fought
it.
fire, you guys are throwing out a bunch of hypotheticals. I'm just
It's
telling
because
you.
he fights,
He's
he's
on the
firefighter.
firefighter.
Yeah, we've cut many fences before,
I'm sure you'd have, I don't know.
but if
About
we
the,
put gutters on, if we want gutter on the side of our house, how are we gonna be able to put gutters on our house? There's no way to access at all, I mean, we can't even we'll be able to get to it, period.
Even at 3
I
foot
mean-
3 inches, even if the flowers weren't there, 3 foot 3 inches, you still cannot access the gutters.
So the neighbor's required to allow you access to their property so you can put new gutters on? I mean, not in Indiana.
Time to move.
I mean, it's their property,
I don't think
man.
you'll find
I
it
mean, they can
like
exclude
that.
whoever they can literally post a no trespassing sign, and when you come on with
Exactly.
your ladder to access your gutter on their property, have you arrested for trespassing? That's their property. If it's posted no trespassing, they can get the cops involved. I'm just
Which
saying,
you would
that's pretty sacred, right? Your need to put gutters on is, maybe you're gonna have to find another way to put gutters on, I don't know. I'm just saying, you don't automatically have a right to your neighbor's property to do things that you need to do to your house. You don't. And for the utilities, anybody that put a meter in and didn't reserve an easement gets what they get, in my world. I would never put
So is there an easement there?
I have no idea. I don't even know where you live.
How would we find that out?
I'm gonna say
Could go
probably
to the
not an easement because it was
recorder's
just,
office and ask. They could look it up and see. It would probably be reported.
so are we is this something, are we saying that this is something that we are not, this is not?
I don't care about the lines. Okay, right now, that is gonna go to court because we are already planning on court for that. as far as the property line. So we are still disputing the property line, Eric. Here's the thing. I want to make sure that that type of fence does not go up. So we need to make something. We need to
What's it called
discuss
again?
something.
I forgot. Sorry.
It's a winter snow fence. It's little 4 foot or 3 or 4 foot, wood, metal braided into it. Yeah.
Okay, I see it. Okay. This.
And right now, she's putting that up to
Oh.
keep the dog from her yard.
That wouldn't stop the dog for nothing.
But it's still
But
a
that's
temporary
her
fence.
thought.
That's her
And
thought.
she applied for a
But
permit.
she's planning on putting up a bigger
Yeah,
fence.
I guess if that's what he
Yeah.
should told Larry. I just have a feeling she just told you that to get it approved and then gonna put that other one.
Well, then
Because
if
I know
she-
for a fact she has that other one in her
If
backyard.
if she were to apply for a 6-foot privacy fence and puts this up instead, there's consequences to those actions, correct? If there's a fence already up right now, is there a fence up right now?
No,
There's no fence up right now. Okay.
she had one up for years right next to her little shed and she took it down about a year and a half ago.
Something like that.
I'm just trying to look and see in the subdivision ordinance if there's anything about what the fences are supposed to be like.
I know when they were talking about, which this is, I know when they were talking about putting in Shepherd's Landing, they were talking about specific fences there. But that obviously, that's
It's
a
a
different.
homeowner
that-
association.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the subdivision up here behind, Little Beverage and Tractor Supply. They have something in their they're considered an HOA too? Gulf
Yeah, 'cause
Ridge?
they have covenants.
Yeah, covenants. It's in their covenants.
Yeah.
But it has to have to be white.
And I know this is important to you and I get it, but like, you can't, like, what are you gonna say? I mean, wood and metal, like, that's normal fence materials.
Yeah.
Yes,
metal
but
vinyl.
not metal that is entwined.
You can't say metal entwined, like,
A chain
like,
link fence is a legitimate fence.
Do what?
A chain link fence is,
Right, but it's not, it doesn't, I'm sorry, but it's no fence. I'm sorry, but it looks
Well,
like
that snow
crap.
fence ain't gonna go from the sidewalk to the alley. There's not enough there. I saw the roll. It's not big enough.
Again.
It's not that.
unless
I
she-
saw the
Usually those
roll.
are just
I asked
temporary.
Slide to
Yeah,
me
they're supposed to be a
today.
temporary.
She told me she was going to put up a 6-foot wooden privacy fence.
and if that's what the permit is and they don't, there's consequences for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think she's locked into putting a 6-foot privacy fence in.
Maybe
if
this is
That's what
just,
the permit says.
maybe this is
That
just
snow fence
temporary
ain't
to
big
see
enough.
what it's
I
gonna
saw
be
it.
like
It
to
can't
have
go
a
all the way
fence
down.
there.
Say it
I
again.
don't
What'd you say?
Because winter
That
fences.
snow
are usually
fences,
temporary.
I saw the roll before. It's not long enough to go from the front all the way to the alley. There's not that much there. Some might have been for something else or, I don't know.
Are we wanting to try to regulate what type of fence?
I'm out.
No.
Yeah, when it's your property, I don't. I think the height in front for visual, sake and danger in the street and stuff, but other than that. No, I mean, that's why people buy property next to them, so somebody can't go build something else on it if they don't want it,
Yeah.
And I came in a little bit late, but I don't know if you tried to have a conversation with her about this.
There's no talking. She won't even talk to us. So there's no talking.
Other than she told you that she's afraid of your dog.
Yeah.
So she did get that out.
And he can't even get close to her back door. He's on a leash right there at the end of
On a
the
lead,
steps.
heavy duty lead.
They don't even come off our property line.
Is there a way that maybe talk to her? Because I think a 6-foot privacy fence might be nice. Is there a way to talk to her that if you said, hey, I love this, I love that you want to do this, I think it's great. Is there a way for you to maybe instead of starting it at the front where she's talking about, could you move it back just a few feet? Maybe that, I don't know. That is not an official capacity. I'm not saying that.
Right. We would not have an issue. If she wanted to do the backyard and go to her back door, that's fine.
She mowed all that on the side between the houses. I just go to one strip, that's all I mowed.
Mhm.
And that's all I've ever mowed right there, one strip to go through there.
Mhm.
And she mows all the rest of it. So now if she puts this fence up, I can't get a weed eater down through there.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
Guys,
Yeah.
I don't know whether this is the proper place to even discuss this, to be honest with you. I mean, I think Denise has a point about the fence and the type of fence. I wouldn't want a neighbor putting up snow fence as a permanent fence between my house and theirs. I get that, but beyond that, I think that this is probably a private dispute that needs to be settled somewhere out of this
Right,
type of meeting.
right.
Mhm.
I'll just say that.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so the next part that we were talking about, which I don't know, Judd, did you have any, oh, it's okay, you're shaking your head, it's okay.
It's gonna be, what you've proposed is gonna be passed out at the meeting tonight.
At the council meeting?
meeting.
Okay.
tonight.
Okay.
But there wasn't a whole lot added to it.
No, we didn't, no, I just, was
This
there,
is the seat container thing,
yes,
and that's just residential.
Get ready
No, we
for
already did the
a
residential.
few minutes
This
to
is the
check
commercial
on
now.
for the next meeting.
What, did I miss anything? We,
I don't think so. Is there anything more?
We did commercial last time. Last month we
She
did
was
commercial.
asleep.
what was the verdict on the commercial?
I'm pulling it back out, so let me see if this is the right one.
She, Ingrid highlighted two things that were added to the previous ordinance, and I can read those.
This
I've got
one.
copies, but they were for the city council. For the appearance, all shipping containers, this was added, if located in a business or industrial zone shall be fenced so as not to be visible.
In commercial and industrial.
In business and industrial, yeah, yes.
We voted on that? That's weird.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I remember talking about it.
I don't
yeah,
remember
we
voting
voted
on
on
that.
that.
I definitely would like that brought back up, because I was the one pushing against. And then we talked about different commercial areas like downtown, and then we talked about halls
Mhm.
being out there.
Yeah, I don't remember there being a vote on it.
I know, yeah, maybe not. Let's look and see. Sorry.
The other provision that she italicized, meaning it was added, a maximum of 2 portable shipping containers shall be allowed on business or light industrial zone real estate, subject to the terms of section 3 above, which is the appearance section.
I don't remember voting on that. If I did, I apologize and forgot, but
That's okay. We don't have to do, it's not a,
residential, I'm all in, I agree, but
yeah, we don't have to push it through by any means. Sorry, I'm going back. I'm just making sure I'm not missing it in front of my notes.
Should we close that?
I'm trying to remember. I didn't
So
write
is
that
your
down.
question,
I do not remember voting on
but I mean,
commercial.
what's the issue on the commercial? That-
So will you repeat it again, Judd? You said there was for the first two, they had to be fenced.
They had to
It will
be
be
fenced,
fenced so as not to be visible. It's limited to a maximum of 2.
I remember that. I
Yes.
remember the max. I remember.
Yes.
There's no maximum on shipping containers allowed on real estate zone heavy industrial, subject to the appearance provisions.
Right.
Those are the additions.
We said that there was, so if they're located there, they needed to be fenced where they couldn't be seen.
Right, we did say that.
Which I do not remember
No,
voting
I
on.
don't.
I remember talking about that, but I don't, and then they needed to be fenced and then max 2 on property. But we did say that if they wanted more than 2,
They could come
they
before
could come and
get
ask
a
for variance. I remember that discussion.
And we
Hi.
said they had to be hidden because they would be permanent?
You didn't say hidden because
What did we
Why did we
say?
say hidden, or fenced
Yeah.
around so you can't
Why
see
did
it?
we
I
say
don't
that?
remember coming to any conclusions, because the last that we had, we were talking about the different areas, and all commercial space shouldn't be treated the same. So like downtown commercial
Mhm.
space.
We did talk, because we said,
Right.
because I
So-
mentioned down
yeah.
at like by Watson's.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Yes.
there was no final on anything.
Yeah.
It was all just in trying to figure out, and because that's when we brought up like, Little's building came up, for example.
Right.
because of
Yes.
having
I was gonna say,
containers.
like the fire
And we talked about the
station, it's
natural
not-
barriers and different
The fire
things like,
stations.
We
but
did talk about
nothing
that,
came,
yes.
we didn't decide anything.
Do you remember that? We did not decide anything on.
Yeah, it seemed like I recall it, we were gonna all individually go drive around, check it out.
Right,
And just
yeah,
kind of get
and
it,
then-
get a
Do
perspective.
we have the new version where we can look over it tonight before it goes before city council?
Well, it sounds like it shouldn't be going before the city council if you guys aren't prepared for it.
The
I was
right.
waiting on Ingrid.
Right.
I've
The
got
residential
copies here
one.
For the city council.
Okay.
The residential one is good. We've passed it. It's done. We did it with
Right.
the city council. That one's
Oh,
already
already
in.
through. Done.
That one's
Okay,
good.
sorry,
Yes,
sorry,
that
sorry.
one's good.
One
So
second.
this, just the business, commercial, industrial type thing. So I guess I mean, I feel like we kind of know. If you didn't drive around, you would probably kind of know still.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just thinking that, I thought you had brought up that, we need to really look at the problem and maybe
Work
have
backwards.
some type of natural, barrier or something.
Natural
Mhm.
fence.
which
And I think
would-
that's where she got the fencing from, because we brought up that it needed to have some type of barrier, whether it's a natural fence or a natural fence.
And we had talked about Mark Little's property with
Yes,
how he's
the
got it in the
trees,
trees in the back, which are
Right.
very nice.
Right. And I think that's where that came from, so,
And you had brought up, and we had talked about a particular property, trying to
This
fix
isn't
that.
gonna fix. If
That
you-
wasn't gonna fix it, and that we had hoped that it might be fixed a different way.
right.
She
And
says,
that's when we brought up the actual fencing for that one.
Yes.
she says this was just a draft. She was asked to get comments on paper in the form of an amendment to look at, and that's what we left it at last time. It
Perfect.
wasn't intended to be a final version. I assume there would be more discussion.
Perfect.
Right,
Okay, great. So,
So, let me pass this out and we'll skip that. We'll skip the city council looking at it because you guys haven't approved it yet anyway.
and I want to we have about, I'm gonna say like 20-ish minutes until we need to wrap up, just so everybody knows for the next
For the
meeting.
next
So
meeting.
I just want to make sure sorry, I know it's on a tight
Is,
timeline.
is there any other topics we need to talk about?
I think this was it,
Sorry,
right?
man.
Is there anything that you can think of?
Cost figures.
Thank you. Is there anything else, Judd, that you know that we need to discuss, or this was it? Perfect.
This was it.
There.
The question about the fence that you had thrown out, was
Oh.
that in relationship to this, or was that
No.
something?
No,
that's
else?
separate.
something
We already-
different.
yeah,
We're not
we-
doing
yeah.
that, no.
Because I know there is an ordinance about fencing is not to block the view of the neighbors.
Yes, we talked about it already. That's it.
Because I remember I stopped a guy from building his fence and I said, you can't do that. It's too close. You're blocking the view of your neighbors. Just as a neighbor, I said,
Well, I mean,
Well, what do you
if they abided by your request, that's one thing. Could you have prevented them from doing it? I'm not so sure. about that.
I think so, because I think it was stated that the fence could not, like the one out here on Perry Street, down 2 doors from the Catholic Church. That probably is a violation of a code because it brought it all the way out almost to the street.
No,
And
Eric
it's-
said it can go all the way out to the sidewalk.
But the height,
I can only be 36 inches.
the height can only
For
be
the front
36.
yard.
Unless they
Yes.
get a variance. They're
And that's so you can see, you have
So you
access of vision.
view of traffic.
Yeah. And that one doesn't, but that's neither here nor there, but that was my understanding of why that was implemented. And yes, the man said, I didn't realize that and he didn't build a
You
7-foot
didn't build
fence.
like a tall fence or you didn't build any fence?
He took it back to his house where the house was, is what he actually did. And that's been years and years ago, probably 15 years ago.
Do you guys want to walk through? I'm going to skip over, obviously, the beginning part, the applicability part. I was going to go to the appearance part. Do you want to go through like each section there? Just be like, yes, no, we have a problem.
The italics part is what's been added to the previously approved residential.
Got it. Okay, that makes
Okay.
sense. So it's it's L
And
on the first page, and then, what'd you say?
C and D or something?
And then,
you know?
yeah, C and D.
L is good, except for it needs to be for a regular fence or natural fence. I don't think that if we leave it at shall be fence, I think that future people are gonna think that has to be a fence.
Any
fence.
type, like a,
Right, not because natural fences work just as well if they're good trees that block where you can't see.
So the only thing I'm gonna say is, and I get, we're mixing conversations. So, and my opinion is, I am going to advocate for business, okay? I am truly gonna always advocate for business. So if you have mixed uses, that's when you start getting in barriers. So i.e. that's where the little property came in, where you have residential tied up into commercial or industrial. But like when you have properties, you can't, in my opinion, you can't just mandate every time there's a sea container there to put a fence in. And it's still not
If they're
gonna
there
fix,
permanently, why not?
because it's their property and that's that's not like, why should you have to do that? It's my property or whoever's property. Now, if you're building something, that's different. So when you're building, whether you're building, so if you're taking a property and switching it from commercial to residential or residential to commercial and you're up against a residential area, now that's different. That's when you would come in and go, okay, I feel you should mandate some, because you, like here, if I wanted to put a commercial ice cream stand beside your house, okay? And so it was residential before, now I want to make it commercial. I feel you have every right to go, time out. There should be a barrier to protect my property between what you're doing, like wolves, where you have those kind of things. All for that. But just to blanketly say, so here, if I stick a tractor out in front of a commercial property, should I have to fence it? So that's kind of where, like, I think we're going down a rabbit hole, and I don't feel it protects what you're originally trying to do.
I guess I guess to be more specific, and this is me, this is what I'm thinking, because so we're all gonna take a little bit different, but I guess I'm thinking of, there are people that use this, the storage things, whatever we wanna call them, as storage. They need it for storage. They're in and out of them. They do use them, but they're using them frequently, maybe even on a daily basis. I think for those things, I'm not saying that they can't have them. I'm okay with them having them, especially for a business. That makes complete sense to me. I just don't know if I want it to be where it's not aesthetically pleasing. Where it kind of goes back to, does it matter if it doesn't have graffiti, if it's already being covered by a fence? Who gives a crap if it's got, sorry.
But-
do you see what I'm saying? Like,
But here, so your fence is only allowed to be 6 foot tall. You're gonna see the top of it anyway.
right. I guess, okay, tell me, okay, can I use you as an
Sure.
example? Where you've got your awesome Badlands sign right on Perry and Main Street.
Yep.
Where you go, okay, let's pretend you want to put a seed container there.
Yep.
Okay, that's your property. You are allowed to do it because it's a business area.
It's not residential.
It's not residential. You're butted up to another business.
Yep.
I would say there's kids there, but still a business across the street's business. You've got business basically all around you. Do you pretend you don't own it?
I'd still advocate for the same.
Without any type of coverage? I would guess I would
Yeah.
say, even so, right on the road, nothing on it.
Permanently.
It's art. It's not. Yeah, it's business.
Okay, but then
If
think
you
about
want
the
a quadrant-
city.
sorry.
That's like, it's in the city, and so that's how we want our city to look.
Time out. Now I'll go on two sides, talk out of the other side.
Mhm.
If you want to regulate within a certain area,
Mhm.
I would have a different
Okay.
conversation. So if you're saying it's like a historic district,
Got it. That makes sense.
and now you're going to totally change like a historic district. These are the things that you can do in those. That changes my tune.
And I don't want you to think I'm picking on
No,
you or
I love
any
it.
business. I do no, but I think that's fair too. Because we did also talk about like the lumber yard.
Yep.
Them having a storage container type thing there also makes sense to me. They do have a fence all the way around their property. I think that you plopping it there, that to me does make sense. I don't think that that's necessarily a wrong place to put it.
And that's
I
also expected at the lumberyard too.
Right.
It's not like anyone's gonna look down on a lumberyard having storage containers.
But I also would say this too. This is
Yeah.
if you put a storage, let's pretend on that property again that I was talking about, you put it right on there. And let's say you did something really cool with it. Again, you put your cool, like Your
Aesthetic,
decals
aesthetic
on.
is
it's
beauty
aesthetic.
in the eyes of the beholder.
Yeah. So what if you did something like that? So I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's just, how do we place it? Because I would not want something there that would be, the typical look of it, I guess is what I should say. But I also like what you're saying is if you put it into a certain type of district or said it was,
So if we're gonna put some parameters on saying that it has to be fenced in, then we need to go back though and say, identify a certain area.
If it abuts a
town.
residential, if it is
Yeah.
abutting a residential neighborhood, aesthetics need to come
I think that's always, whether it's the solar farm or anything, anytime that you're preserving different uses, I'm always a fan of that.
Right.
And the other thing though, I would say though, I'd be careful pushing the fences. Because I don't know that you're fixing the problem with the fence. Because the sea container is always gonna be taller than the fence anyway.
Mhm.
But before we
But a
finish on that
natural
one,
barrier wouldn't be.
I'm not saying that there should be zero regulations, like here, where you shouldn't be able to live in it without a permit. So here, if you were coming in and you were trying to make a sea container apartment building, you should have to come in and have a permit.
Yeah.
Like, you shouldn't be able to store hazardous things. I'm all good, like, there's some of this, but I'm just saying for commercial use, I don't feel you should have to be able to regulate unless we want to get in. But I think that also fits in our comprehensive plan. Like, that's the whole point of a comprehensive plan, is to be able to target aesthetics, zoning for the future uses of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm just trying to think of a way that, the best way to put parameters on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I also don't want to be nitpicky. I feel like this is nitpicky, but it was a blanket type thing. Where then I feel like I'm saying specific areas, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm picking on that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Well, if you, yeah, and I agree, but if you were like, this parcel, that's picking on people.
Right.
But if you're like, we're trying to preserve, like here, Brady Street,
Mhm.
it wouldn't be weird, or people wouldn't think anything if you made Brady the historic district.
Right.
It fits within the parameters of the homes. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just,
Right. No, that makes sense. You're saying, but I get what you're saying. Nobody's going to be upset if you did that type of thing. Would you almost have to, let's pretend you, I don't know what type of, if you want to call it a specific type of district or whatever. If I was looking at a map and I was circling, or I was, putting lines in to say this property, okay, well, this isn't a business, so I'm not going to touch that property. You know what I'm saying? So if I was doing it by a business standard, I'm kind of going like here. I don't want anybody to, again, I still feel like I'm picking on people. There's not anybody specifically that I'm thinking about in this, but I'm thinking about where.
when you guys did the, that grant, that it targeted, where if you
Oh, the
invested,
business district, yeah.
Yeah.
Main
what
Street.
was that area? Because that was carved off.
That's true. I don't remember what was
It was
the business.
mainly Perry Street. I just
It was
know we
landmarks,
tried,
but,
we were going to apply, but they said we were right outside the district.
I'd want to look at that.
The business district, is that what it was, Paula?
I don't know what they
historic.
called it, but
It was
Yeah,
historic.
Historic business.
Downtown.
yeah, the grant that was for businesses to upgrade the outside.
The facade.
Yeah.
That was from Landmarks too. Was that through?
Yeah, Landmarks was.
Was that the
Landmarks
was that the
um,
recent one, or was that the
yeah.
one that was a couple years ago?
I'm thinking of the recent one,
The
but
most
I'm,
recent.
yeah.
And that was that just for
BUHN.
facade, or was that for?
No, it's interior.
That was the
both.
interior,
It's for
okay.
everything.
But you know what? We could ask to see what they can. We
We
could
can
ask
tell
to
you
see.
what it is.
Was it outlined on there though, on the paperwork? Do you know what it was? What was it?
It was Perry Street from the hotel down to Jackson Street up until, now this I'm kind of sketchy on. Was it your or the,
Our place was not allowed.
but was the other one below you, the insurance company?
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, and another thing that wasn't like Davis Pharmacy.
It was
Wasn't
across
able.
the street. It was,
Okay.
It wasn't touching. The,
and that was done by Historic Landmarks did that. And Tommy Kleckner's the one who wrote the grant.
okay.
But I think that on the Indiana State Registry of a Historic Downtown, which that area is, that was plotted out years ago. It was declared then.
So okay, I guess I'm not understanding why we can't put that if a business that wants a storage shed butts to residential, that they have to have a block between the trailers and the residential. some kind of a fence, something. Natural would be better because it would get taller, obviously.
I'm listening to you. I'm just looking at this.
Trying to pull up the comprehensive plan.
Well, we're gonna require businesses to get a permit if they wanna bring in a storage container.
I think that's it.
That's the question.
This is a work in progress.
Does this sound what you're thinking, Kyle? Maybe, where a business or an industrially zoned property wants to place containers on the boundary adjacent to a residential or historic district, they need.
Yep.
That's,
Yeah, something to protect.
Can we be specific with, because obviously a chain link fence is not going to do that, right? Is it
opaque privacy.
aesthetically? I mean, that's,
6 feet tall. So, I mean, in terms of the standards.
So if you had chain link fence
Mhm.
where they have the brown, nice, you ever see those?
yes.
Like airports have them,
Mm-hmm.
like, does that check the box? Good or bad?
I don't love them.
Mm-mm.
That's just me being picky.
I mean-
That's me being me.
Okay.
I know that I'm particular.
You can RC
So-
with them. and-
Yeah. You can pay it, yeah.
So here,
Mhm.
I'm just gonna go on the other side.
Mhm.
An unmaintained wood fence,
Mm-hmm.
which one would you rather have?
That's true too.
I like, it's called linear questions.
Yeah, I
So
love that
you have to
do
go
it.
yes or no's on pick.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Everybody would love a beautiful white vinyl fence, like where it's all picturesque, but I don't think you can mandate that.
No, that's expensive too.
So where's your line of,
Sure.
temporary fences are different. You could say,
But maybe you have a standard of what's acceptable, and that's not actually in there, but it could be like an addendum or something that people would come in and say, these could be your options for this particular neighborhood. If you're butting up to historic, these are the type of fences that we would approve. If it's another one, these are the type of fences that could be approved. And that could determine where in the town, and yet the owner would have some leeway in choosing what they would want to do.
so if you built the county market again,
Oh, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
what would you make the number rather? If anything?
Are you talking about behind, like, yeah, that's a good question. 'Cause it's not nice to look at.
It's not a sea container,
It's not a seed container, you're absolutely right.
it's a structure.
When I'm in other communities, they have trees around them where it's aesthetically pleasing. If you go to, other Paylesses or whatever in other communities, it is aesthetically pleasing because there are trees or shrubs or whatever.
So Paula, for example, what would you want between, if anything, between your house and the old apartment? Or, the
The insurance place?
strip mall.
Of the strip mall.
So if that was being built today, what would you expect to be there?
Where the hair thing is.
But that's not a storage container.
No, but he's asking what if they needed, I was thinking the
Oh,
same
if they
thing, what if
needed
they
one?
needed to put a storage container there?
No, I'm just saying across, so here,
Yeah.
Across the
county
street.
market, let's just use county market. It's no storage, I would rather look at a storage container than I would county market. I'm not picking on county market, hey,
Yeah.
don't, it's a business, like I'm
Yeah.
just. That's worse than the sea container.
And I don't think either one of them is pleasantly aesthetically pleasing. And I think if we're really gonna look about changing our community, and we're looking about it having amenities, one thing that you think of is having a community that's inviting and is attractive.
I'm advocating for that. But I'm saying if you just say you have to fence a sea container, you didn't fix the problem. If you go to something where you have mixed uses, and now you say you have to have some kind of break between mixed uses, now you're putting the barriers that you're asking for. Whether I park a tractor, a truck, a sea container or whatever, you have an aesthetic barrier between the two uses.
So what are we disagreeing on?
We're not, other than I'm trying to help word it. That's why I asked, like, so what I do is I'll start going in different areas. So, you know, the IG, I picked the county market one. I picked Little's, okay? Like, I think about Wolf's. I thought about your house. Like, there's a retail store. Do you need anything in between something like that? Is there a difference between retail versus like Tractor Supply or the hardware store? Is there any classification differences? It's commercial. Okay.
The only distinction, I don't know what would be zoned this way, is sometimes a local business is like a roadside business, like a gas station. That can appear in a lot of places that a general business cannot.
Say that again.
Local business use can appear in more places than a general business use. A general business use can include local businesses. A local business zone cannot include general businesses. So they're typically like fruit stands and gas stations and things that require traffic in and out. Not necessarily a store parking lot, but you know, gas station, people aren't going there for more than 5 minutes, you know, typically.
Okay, so I think we need to still be thinking about this. I'm just saying because we have to get ready to wrap up. So homework wise, so we should all have some homework. Think about if you were Paula's property, if you were your property, if it was my home, and something was next to me, a storage container, sometime, anything, those types of things, what would you want to see? And let's pretend it's not. Well, also, what else would you want to see? So really think about how you want to regulate that. And what type of regulation do you want? Because there should be obviously some freedoms in owning your own business and owning your own property and be able to do what you want with it.
Well, that to me, that's the crux. I mean, I can say, you know, when we have guests and they want to use a hot tub, do they want to sit in the hot tub and look at a storage container? Probably not.
Right.
But that's their property and maybe they're working to where they need, I don't know if I have the right to.
It's
Do I?
aesthetically, yes, it's your business that's being interfered with. I mean,
But it's not my property. I'm not paying for.
you know, this whole thing about, well, it's mine, and nobody can tell me what to do. It should be the community. What can we do to make the community better?
Then buy it. I will adamantly disagree with that on the record that I think that is absolutely insane.
I think you're wrong.
Okay. I'm going to come mow your yard the way I want to mow it. Where should your freedom start and where should mine stop? Think about that.
I understand, but I really.
I'm
think,
Tom's
Kyle,
neighbor. I can only imagine what he thinks of me. So.
See, I think that's where we come from. I still come from old school. Ask not what your country can do for you. What can you do for your country? And I want to make Attica better without infringing on people's rights to make choices. And I think you can do that. But I think if everybody wants to do what everybody wants to do, there's going to be total chaos and it's going to look like crap and nobody will want to come. I think there has to be some plan.
Just for the record, while we're still on the record, we got 5 minutes.
No, we got 1 minute.
I was advocating for barriers between uses. I totally get that. Because the original problem is aesthetics between, if I remember for early on in this conversation, it was brought up, so in residentials, we can't have these ugly things in residentials.
Right.
Perfectly agree, okay? My question is if you isolate just a sea container, there's a lot of other ugly uses,
Yes.
okay, for
Yes.
that property. So the answer isn't sea containers. It's the barrier
Yeah.
between two
And I agree with
properties.
you. I agree with you.
We were
Did you
good
put
there.
that on the record, whoever's doing it?
It's live.
Okay.
Cindy said he was right.
So my thing of it is what do we make that barrier?
Something aesthetically.
Okay, so we have
But
to word
We
that,
have that.
and then
But we have to figure out what that means because that's where we were talking about with, how this gave us the
The fence
this or that, yeah, type of thing.
Well, and that's going to depend. you just can't make a hard and fast rule for that.
But you can't, and I know we're coming, but you also can't say, and I'm joking, and I know this is not what you're saying, what I feel like that day.
True.
Okay,
True.
so,
True.
and then the second is what you think's pretty, I might not, and vice versa. So here, I might think a wall full of Jeeps is just amazing. You would be like, oh my God. So,
Kyle's at it again.
so there is that barrier.
Yes.
And, I think part of our duty is we have to right here. It's like you guys just now dealing with 4.8 feet.
Mhm.
Kind of joking, but not.
Mhm.
4.8 feet
Mhm.
down to 3 inches. We're going to war.
No,
It's great.
Yeah.
Until it's a problem.
I agree with you. I think we're really probably on the same page.
So
This,
it's snowing outside. Oh my gosh.
The question I have is the goal here not to have businesses have semi-trailers and storage containers for long-term or short-term? Or-
I think that's still something we're discussing, because I think that it's,
What they abut up to
it's-
is another thing
it's,
too.
it's a lot that we're trying to dissect, I
Well,
think.
Myself personally there's a difference there between having it short-term and long-term. And when I say that, there's some cities out there, a business, you can have a storage container or a semi-trailer temporary.
Yeah, I think we're beyond that. We're beyond
Not
that.
even
Yeah,
beyond 90 days, and it has to be so many feet away from the property line, and it cannot be adjoined to a residential area.
And we've done that.
Yeah, we've,
That's been covered. We're looking at more long-term.
Yep.
And we're looking at whether it's abutting a neighborhood, a residential area.
Okay.
Is it a standalone where it's only
I already know
resident,
what you're gonna
it's
ask.
only
No,
commercial?
Commercials.
You're good. Vignette Farms
Yes.
is your example
Mm-hmm.
of mixed use.
Vignette Farms.
Old bygones.
yeah,
Bonnie's
Bonnie's
Bike.
bygones.
No,
So-
I know what it is, but what do you?
But it's not in city
Multi-use.
limits. You're just using that as an example.
I'm using that as an example.
Of what? We have no
Mixed.
control over that.
So,
No,
well,
no.
mixed use.
As an
So
example.
their business was driven from aesthetics. Now they have a solar farm going in.
Mhm.
Where does their rights start and stop?
And it's solar.
It's our job, and I'm using that as an example. It's our job to anticipate that
Mm-hmm.
the best we can.
Well, the owners of that property decided, did they not have to say of what they used that property for?
I'm not disputing that,
I'm just saying,
but I'm saying when we have mixed uses, our job is to
That's what
protect
it is.
both people the best we can.
and a beautiful, aesthetically pleasing barrier would, I think.
Agreed. That's
Yep,
why,
we're-
that's
yeah, we're
exactly
agreed,
what
yeah.
I'm saying, yes.
Well,
Yep.
see, I said we were on the same page.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying,
All
is
right.
that fixes that.
So,
That's
okay,
this is-
hey, before we adjourn, the next meeting is August 11th, 4:00. August 11th,
No,
no, we're changing it?
The redevelopment.
Redevelopment's gonna have to
commission is
meet.
not on the 11th.
It's online, it is.
I know, but we have to change it because they're coming down with the budget.
Okay, so are we
Correct.
good to still, are we still good to be here at 4:30 then?
You're good to be here, but the RDC meeting's the 14th.
Our-
Because it's the annual meeting.
So APC though can be here at
Yes,
4. Okay, do you guys
APC
want to
can be
meet
here
4 or
whenever they want.
4:30?
Four's
4? Does that work for you?
Well,
No?
TBD, I don't know.
Okay, you let us know. Let's right now shoot for 4.
August.
4:00.
August 11th, 4:00 here. Do your homework. Come back for a riveting discussion.
I want the movie rights.
How
So
about
what's the
decisive?
next meeting?
Decisive.
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 I like it.
No,